Welcome back, traders, to this week's installment of USDJPY, how I swing trade USDJPY using the volume profile, and we're going to be picking up from where we left off. Now, roughly around 6 days ago, okay, when I did the analysis on this particular asset, we was in this low volume node area. We just tapped into it. So if you go in there, so if you take a look at my last video on USDJPY, you will notice that when we did it, price was in this zone. Price was in this zone, low volume node area, and it was just sitting there. Now, since then, price has begun to collapse on itself. So price is now on its way back down again, and price has now found its way back into this low value node area inside of the high value area of the volume profile. Okay, so these two things here aren't really big deals, but based on what I observed last week, because last week when I did this recording, I expected price to come down, but at the same time, due to the strength, to the push to the upside, I assumed it was going to break above the value area high, this level right here. I believed it was going to take it out and make its way into this zone. Hence why I put certain price points in those areas, right? So we're going to get rid of these two now because we know what to do if price gets to this area up here, okay? How we need to behave, how we kind of need to prepare ourselves. So the main thing is we want to focus in this area right here. What has taken place? So one of the most obvious things that has taken place that we can obviously all see is that this trend line over here has been broken. So this trend line over here has been taken out. Price is now in some form of a descending channel, okay? Which means what it does in this area is now really important, okay? Like I was saying, I prefer to try to take my trades outside of low volume node areas, right? Either to the upside or to the downside. Not because it's blind faith, but usually, right? Usually it's a really good indicator to let you know direction of market. So, I mean, let's look at this for what it is, right? Let's just look at this situation here for what it is. So trend line. So this trend line over here has been taken out. So assuming you like to trade with trend lines, right? You can see the trend line has been taken out. So trend line first drop to the downside took out the trend line. Then price went back into the trend line again, but this time right around the top or the top side of the first area of the volume profile, right? I mean, sorry, of the low volume node, right? You could have positioned yourself just under that. So let me just zoom in closer. Let's make this really make sense, okay? So after this trend line gets taken out, right? After this trend line gets taken out, if you had this kind of setup, say for example, you just observe this ascending channel to the upside, and we're looking at this on the hour, okay? And then you saw say, trying to think of a noticeable level to be taken out. So say this level right here gets taken out, right? This level right here gets taken out, and the level in question, just in case you want to reference that on your own screens, that would be 147.413, right? And you could see the consolidation going on in this area, okay? You could have hopped in on this one right here. Ideally, I would have wanted to take it from up here, right? If I was watching the game, I would have wanted to take it from up here, right? And then see how that played out. But you could have done it in the most sensible way possible, would have been this one right here after this move collapse. You could try to get this move dead on, but in my opinion, always wait for confirmation before you move, right? So now price is now broken down and it's gone into the deepest part of the low volume node area, which is this right here. Okay, so this has the deepest groove, hence why it's nice and dark, and this is the manual thing that I actually put on there because I set these up myself, right? So price is now in there, in this zone right here. It's creating some form of a channel. Okay, so we could see if price is going to break down or if it's going to push up. And what we would want to see if this is indeed a channel is we want to put a little level down here. Okay, we want to observe this level over here, right? You could argue and say, hey, you know what, I want to go with this one or maybe this one over here, but in my opinion, I think this one is the safest, in my opinion, right? So what you do is you drop a little level on here like so, and then we wait to see what happens. That's it. We just wait to see what happens. Because in this game, patience is one of the things that you really want to utilize, right? Patience is one of those skills that you must be able to utilize in this game. If you're not a patient person, I think the market will end up swallowing you up, right? So that's just a little something that I want to put out there. If you don't already know, wait for your setup, right? It might take a while, but trust me, you wait for your setup. So anyways, right, so what we've got going on right now, is obviously we've got this little situation here. So we have some form of a descending channel going on right here, right? Now the thing with descending channels is that they have a high probability of pushing to the upside. So if we believe that price is going to make his way back into this low volume node area up here, there is a high possibility that it is going to close above this current low volume node area. We're going to get a close somewhere above this level, okay, in this descending channel. So you see how when you combine the volume profile with all the other things that you may or may not know already, but if you combine them together, how it ends up giving you really good, powerful insight into the probability that certain events might actually appear in the not too distant future. Okay, so we already know that this move over here has the probability of breaking upwards. It can break down, but it does have a probability of breaking upwards. Based on how this current structure is laying within this low volume node area and this low volume node area, okay, we would know early warning detection system at these levels right here. So these are the key levels. These are the key levels that will give us indication as to what is happening and how it's happening. So the first one being 145.306. that's to the low side, right? Market says there's a high probability it's going to go down. We look at those zones, and if market's saying there's a high probability it's going to go up, then we're looking at this one. If you get a close above it, and that will be 147.558, right? So these are the two zones that we'll be looking at, that we'll be keeping an eye on, just to see what happens and how it happens, right? So let me move this out. Let me just bear with me a moment. Let me just let's just look to see where we are right now. So if I zoom out just a little bit, right, just a little bit, because I want to get the value area high of the volume profile and the value area low of the volume profile in short, right? So you can understand why taking sales from up here would make sense once price indicated that there was a probability it will be coming down, right? So you didn't really necessarily have to wait for price to really make his way all the way down. So you see the second option that I gave in this area, you didn't really have to wait for that, okay? You could have taken your sales from up here, in all fairness, once you got the first indication. So let's just take a look. So The last time I did the video was here. So I did the video on a Wednesday on this particular day right here. Okay, so after that day's video was made, price closed below the low volume node area on that day of me making this video, on that day of me making the video 6 days ago. Then it returned back to the low volume node area, only for it to begin to collapse on itself this Monday, right? So if you had watched my video last week and you jumped in with the move, you'd have been trapped for the whole of that week up until Monday just gone, and it's only then would you have gained all of this. Only then. So what could have happened is you could have locked in, you seen the move, you jump in, you try to sell the market, right? It flies all the way down into this low volume node area. You can be like, okay, if it bounces from this area, I'm out. Secure yourself with the trading stop. It comes out, it shakes you out, you do nothing after that. You wait. It's now gone back into the low volume node area. So you sit on your hands for the rest of that week, or you just go shopping on the open market looking for an asset that is in position, that is in line with what you're trying to do, right? So by the time you come around to Monday again, you see that price is hovering around in this area. Price is just playing around like he wants to break down. As soon as you get that confirmation of the break, you're in there. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, this is all you, my friend. This is all you. So moving forward, I've already given you what I think could happen and what you need to look out for. These are the two levels that I think you need to look out for over here. And when it comes to currency pairs, right, I don't really like applying the delta to currency pairs. Reason being is that it's just erratic, right? I'll show that to you right now. It's because people just do whatever it is that they're doing in there. Like literally, people are buying, selling, buying, selling, and it is just like, you see what I mean? Like, it's just crazy. So all up here, Forex guys want price down. Down here, FX guys want price up. It's just an unrelenting battle, right? So that's why I don't like bringing it on here, because it's literally just going to confuse you. It's just literally going to confuse you because there's so much going on in the Forex market. Like, it's so much. Like, these guys are not playing. They are not playing at all. So with that all said and done, okay, so I think I've kind of laid down everything in regards to what's going on now, especially what's going on in this area. We have a break of trend, right? Price is in a descending channel. It could blast off. These are the levels to keep an eye on if it does blast off. So these are the levels right here, okay? And let's just see what market does in the next coming days. So I hope once again you have found the content that I have shared with you this morning super useful. If you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that subscribe button, you turn on the notification, and then you drop us a like. And I will see you all on the next one.